We done had a switcheroo. Welcome to the Sunday Rise.
Hold up. Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Joshua Conti. Today, my client, the undefeated, undisputed, universal heavyweight champion of sports talk, the Midnight Rider. I had something for you. I told you weeks ago. I had something for you.
Two things. That just made my morning. that is the most important thing. That just made my morning. Second thing, he not getting paid for that. Look, we're gonna have to pay you in stock options or something, but that was awesome. That was fucking great, man. I loved it.
I was gonna do it yesterday, but it wasn't enough people on the show for the WrestleManiacs. But yeah, man. Oh man.
I love it. I love it. Oh man. And I didn't even look at the screen. I was so busy doing something else. I didn't even look at the screen. Good grief. Oh my goodness. First and foremost, I look, we must be feeling good this morning. How you feeling?
I'm good, man.
Good. We're gonna jump into this thing, man. We got a pretty, this is the show in between the championship weekend and Super Bowl. That's always our preview of what the offseason is gonna look like for us. And there's no shortage of things to talk about. Let's just say that.
Oh, definitely.
Starting off with big important news. Kyrie Irving wants out of Brooklyn, right? He is getting crucified in the media. And I know the Midnight Rider has some things to say. And I have things to say as well. So I'll give the floor to the Midnight Rider. Take it away.
I just don't know what the dude wants, man. Everywhere he goes, he just wants out. And it's always all out of the blue. It's always I think yesterday he made a statement. Maybe this was one of those joke sites, but it was like, it's not that I have anything against Brooklyn, but I want out. I can't stay in this place, blah, 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 blah. Like, I just don't know what team. I already know what team is going to take him. And that's the part that's really bugging me, is he's going to be a Laker. He shouldn't be able to wear the purple and gold, but if they get things worked out, he'll wear purple and gold. We'll probably give up our 2034 first-round draft pick, amongst others, because we like trading away the future picks because we don't have any picks. But what does this dude want? That's really is it a championship or is it just having his way? He's like the kid that wants to take his basketball and go home every time stuff doesn't go right. And it's not once, it's not twice. This is his character, his nature. He's asked for trades multiple times. And I just don't get it. I don't understand. I don't know what motivates him. And like him wanting out of places, I have this thing where I don't want to hear him say Mamba mentality because he ain't got one. So don't use that phrase. Don't use that sentence because that's not what you want. You're not on that level. Kyrie is greater than Russ. I totally agree with that, Eric. But the problem is which Kyrie you getting. I mean, the kid's putting up 27 points a night, but is that enough to hold your team together and get you through? And in this team, him averaging 27, LeBron averaging 20, and AD averaging whatever he's going to average the 2 times a week he plays, and the other times he's hurt. Just where does that whole thing and that dynamic sit and work? Like, that's the part I don't get. I don't understand this team, what they're trying to do, because he's only going to be there for the rest of the season. It's not like he's coming back next year. So what I don't even know what the Lakers are building. And that's a bigger problem, but that's all I got, man.
Okay. The mute button act like didn't want to come on. What's going on? Easy. My man Eric, and I do agree Kyrie is better than Russ. I believe that they're both dynamic talents. I'm not taking one away from the other. But when it comes to Kyrie and Russ, I'll take Kyrie. Now here's my thing. You say, what is it that he wants? And I can't remember. I think it was Eton Thomas that said it. And he put it in a great perspective, and I agree with it because I was trying to figure out how I was going to verbalize this morning. If you're at a job and the owner of the company has a problem with you, the general manager of the company has a problem with you, are you going to stay there and be in a toxic environment? See, everybody's focusing on Kyrie wanting out, but they're not focusing on why and what led up to this. And then they're putting the checklist out of what Kyrie has done. He promoted an anti-Semitic film. What else did they say he did? He requested a trade. He talked bad about Brooklyn and all it. And I'm like, okay, wait, stop. Number one, he didn't promote an anti-Semitic film. He said, go check out the film for yourself. The film was so anti-Semitic. Why didn't Amazon take it down? And why did Amazon make the movie from $2.99 to $42.99? Because everybody was running to watch it. If it was so anti-Semitic, why was it not taken down? Why was it not banned if it was so anti-Semitic? Everybody watched that movie and said, hey, it's nothing wrong with this movie. It's giving a different perspective on something and actually telling the truth.
Well, if it doesn't say it the way that you want to hear it, then it's not a perspective you want to hear.
And then he had the list of all the things he had to do, and I agree with you with that, Easy. Eric says, they gave that man a laundry list of BS for him being himself. Would have been done after that. And I agree.
Yeah.
But see, Joseph Tsai did all of that, find him, made him sit out and all of that. But you did all of that because he said, hey, go check this movie out for yourself and tell me what you think. He didn't say, yeah, go watch this movie because I'm making money behind it. He made no money off of that.
Right.
But now let's flip that. You focus on all the negative he does. You don't focus on him giving $60,000 to the Shaquella Robinson GoFundMe for her funeral.
That's the one that got killed in
Mexico
with her friends.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And I don't mean to throw this off topic too much, but is there anything else coming out? Because I haven't heard anything on her in a minute.
No, they said they were extraditing some people, but nothing came out yet.
Okay. All right, cool. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
But see, okay, go ahead. But see, the thing is, you talk about Kyrie and what he's done wrong, but you don't talk about what he's done right. His rights outweigh anything that you consider that he done wrong. And it seems like any player that speaks up for themselves and says, hey, this is how I feel about X, Y, and Z, you're a problem. I.e. Kyrie Irving, i.e. Colin Kaepernick, i.e. Eric Reed. These guys were problems because they stood up for something they believed in. That's a problem. So Kyrie is asking to get out because it's a toxic situation. Being in Brooklyn, and it's not the players. The situation he had with Steve Nash, even though Nash is gone, it was a toxic situation. That's what it was, no matter what. It was toxic. Why do you want to stay? Why would he stay in a toxic situation and try to win a ball game? And then when he did come back after that suspension, what they won? 11 games in a row?
Yep. They were climbed up to like number 2 in the East.
So Kyrie is not the problem. You know, I don't think he has a problem playing with James Harden and KD. I think it's just a toxic situation with management. And when management makes a situation toxic, who the hell wants to stay? I don't blame him for wanting out. I'm cool with this. And to your point, and I thought about this when you said it, and I was going to respond, but I remembered the motto, content. So here it is. I'm about to fill that content bucket up. He can say Mamba mentality all he wants, because guess what? Mamba mentality is just like when Christians say, you know, somebody does something wrong to you, got to turn the other cheek. It don't mean keep getting your face smacked, because sometimes you're gonna run out of fucking cheeks. Mamba mentality, do anything. The kid puts in more work in the gym than a lot of players. He don't go in there and just jack up threes. And Charles Barkley said something about that earlier this week, and I agree with him. These guys don't do nothing but go in there and jack up threes all day long. Nobody has a mid-range game. Kyrie's layup package is probably the best in the game right now. So him saying Mamba mentality don't mean that he has to be the butt boy, the whipping boy, anything else in a situation. If it's toxic, get the hell out of it. Whether it's a relationship, a job atmosphere, whatever it is. If it's toxic, it's going to kill you. Get out of it. And I don't blame him.
Beauty of sports right here, man.
Yeah.
Because you brought up some points that I didn't even think about. I didn't even take into account the whole situation with the suspension about the Jewish stuff. So I appreciate that, bro. I appreciate that. That's why we talk.
Yeah, exactly. And here's my thing. We can sit here and we can talk for days till we blue in the face about, well, what did he say? What he said, was it anti-Semitic? Was it wrong? If you felt it was wrong, that's your opinion. Opinions like assholes, everybody has one. So that's your opinion if you felt it was wrong. Me personally, I didn't see anything he said was wrong. He said, go watch this movie and tell me what you think. It's not like he was like, yeah, I'm getting paid off of this. Y'all watch this, watch my new movie. But they flipped it and turned it, as they do, and made it seem like he put out the movie, he produced it, he's getting money off of it. The whole time, daggone Amazon, they sitting back like this. 100, 200, 300. That's what they doing. They counting money. But I digress. I just need everybody to get off this riding Kyrie's back every time he does something. Oh, he believes the earth's flat. So the hell what? As many people that believe the earth flat. Oh, he didn't want to get the vaccination. That's a problem for me. Same thing I said when Bradley Beal said, hey, I don't want to get the vaccination until I find out more information about it. And I said, his body, his choice. Whether he gets it or not, that doesn't take any food out of my mouth, doesn't take any money out of my pocket. It does not hurt my health or improve my health. I don't care. Mm-hmm. But so many people, and these are Facebook friends, oh, he should be ashamed of himself. But now the CDC and WHO and all that then came back and said, well, the vaccine really didn't work. We thought we had it working, but it really didn't work. So now you got to come back and backtrack about everything that you said and how it was a lie. But you were pressing people out to get this vaccine. But, I mean, when you sit back and you look at the grander scheme of things, people forget that. People forget that report came out a month or two ago. You got swept under the rug, got lost in the shuffle. I didn't forget. So, moving right along. I'm just saying, get off the man back. If you expect him to stay in a toxic situation because of what's going on with these owners and Sean Marks is the GM, I wouldn't want to stay there neither. And if he does wind up with the Lakers, I know the Lakers said they weren't giving up Austin Reeves and another young guy. What players do the Lakers have to give up?
Austin Reeves and the other young guy.
And they say they're not giving him up. So if he doesn't wind up in LA, you know why I like to see him though? Give me Kyrie in Chicago. Kyrie and DeMar DeRozan.
I thought you were gonna say here.
No.
You know how you like to trade Bradley Beal?
No. Because you trade, it would be a shitstorm if Kyrie came to DC. But if Kyrie came to DC, you wouldn't trade Bradley Beal. Because Kyrie and Bradley Beal, I think that's John Wall and Bradley Beal on steroids.
Speaking of John Wall, it's a possibility he's getting bought out
again. Well, shit, I know he ain't mad about it.
Nah, but yeah, it's a possibility that they're talking about. The Clips are talking about because I don't know if you heard Kawhi's comments saying they need a point guard.
Wow, and John Wall is, I think, a top 15 point guard in this league when he's healthy. No, let me rephrase that because I'm not doing him justice. I think he's top 7 when he's healthy. Because the dude,
has he been healthy? I mean, it's something going on. Maybe it's his attitude. I don't know what it is, but something ain't right with him right now.
Well,
and maybe it's the legs, maybe it's the fact that he had that year off.
But that year off did him good.
It got him healthy, but I don't know. He hasn't looked the same the couple times I saw him this year.
Well, I will say this. Maybe that's a trade right there. And to say the Clippers are pursuing Kyrie trade John Wall for Kyrie.
You gotta give him more than that.
Yeah. I mean, you'll have to give him something. My nose, man. I hate when your mustache grow back. and be tickling the tip of your nose. It look like I just did a couple bumps, man. I swear I ain't did nothing. My mustache is tickling the tip of my nose, and I gotta keep rubbing my nose. And as soon as we finish this, I'm gonna take care of that. Don't worry about that. I'm gonna trim that down a little bit. Good God. But you got to do something. The Lakers don't have much to offer, and maybe the Clippers don't want anything big in return from the Lakers. They're like, hey, just take them and get them the hell out of here.
Right.
And that may be the presidents of that trade. So now, speaking of the Lakers, LeBron is the best. LeBron will be number one. All-time leading scorer, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar at 38,387 points. Number two, LeBron James, 38,352. He is 35 points away. If he scores 36 points against the Thunder on Tuesday, he will be your all-time leading scorer. Now, I'm going to let you handle this one first.
All right, I'm done. No, I'm joking. I really don't know how to feel about it. I mean, he hasn't had that moment for me yet. For me to like just, well, no, he did bring us a title, so I can't say. It's just something about LeBron in LA for me that is a struggle. But I got to give roses where roses are due. I got to give flowers when flowers are due. And the kid came in the league from day one, had the ability and the groundwork to be able to come in and play his game. And I think he's transformed himself into a very dynamic player. I'm a struggle to always say he's the one just because of my personal biases and my personal attachments to players. But in terms of a person representing the era, I think it's very dynamic that this kid has crossed over 2 eras or 2 decades and has played top-level basketball. And he's even playing top 10 player-worthy basketball right now at the age of, 36, 37? I don't know how old Bron is, but whatever his age is, after being in the league for 2 decades, so he's got to be 38 at least. I mean, good gosh. And it doesn't look like he's going to fall off. I just hate that he's falling in love with the three-pointer. Because at this age, if he was in the 80s, he'd be a post-up guy with his back to the basket, hitting you with the dream shake and stuff. But, yeah, the kid's dynamic, man. When I saw him the first time, I saw him at St. Vincent because, of course, they were broadcasting his games. And I knew it was something different about him because the way he played, the way he passed the basketball. But to say he's the greatest scorer of all time, someone that comes in with luck, someone that comes in with preparation, because he never had that big injury. And I think that's what derails so many players is once you get that big injury somewhere in your career, you start taking years off your career. But he didn't have that big thing to take him out. I know he had a season-ending injury at one point, but still wasn't enough to kind of curtail his career.
Looking at the top 5 scorers of all time, and you said that, and number 5 is Michael Jordan. He had an injury early in his career where he broke his foot second season, missed most of the second season, came back, torched the Celtics. Then of course he had the 2 retirements.
Right.
So Kobe Bryant, he had the Achilles injury, and the shoulder injury. Yeah. Karl Malone never really had many injuries. And people say, well, Karl Malone, when he was number 2, Karl Malone shouldn't have been number 2 because he benefited from having Stockton. But then on the flip side, you say Stockton benefited from having Malone. Ain't that what teammates supposed to do? You're supposed to benefit from one another.
Right.
And then number 1 is Kareem. Of course, LeBron's number 2 now. But Kareem, I think what's Kareem's biggest injury? When he punched old boy from Milwaukee in the face.
Right.
And broke his hand?
Yeah.
He shouldn't have threw that elbow, man. He threw that straight right hand. Bow. Ken Benson, that's who it was. Good God, I love that play.
You gotta, I give you props because you're a historian at times when it comes to this game. Like you pull up stuff. Like I would have never pulled Ken Benson or Chris Benson or whatever his name was. I wouldn't. Nah.
No, it goes back to being very, very young. I'm talking 7 years old. You know, we moved in with my grandma after my grandfather died. So my cousin was there. And he instilled, you know, talking about Johnny Unitas, talking about the Baltimore Colts, talking about old Redskins and old Cowboys, you know. And he was a big Buffalo fan. So we talked about all of that. And he would tell me, yo, you got to read this book and read this. And so I would go to the library and I would get books on nothing but stats.
I got you.
And I would sit around and read stat books and encyclopedias. And don't give me a sporting encyclopedia. Because I had a sports trivia book and a sports encyclopedia. So I would look in the trivia book, read the question, then go search for it in the encyclopedia. And just sit there, and I would go back and forth between the two books for like 3-4 days in a row, like not watching TV, not playing with no toys. And I'm just sitting there storing numbers. And it took over because now I'm a statistician and I love stats. I love the GM role. That's because of my brother-in-law. The GM role is because of my brother-in-law, but the stats is because of my older cousin.
Okay.
So that's where that comes from. But LeBron, if he does this, now granted, his career is probably going to be longer than Kareem's. So everybody kind of sort of expected LeBron to break this scoring record, and he'll do it in less games.
Right.
He'll have more 3-point field goals than Kareem had. He has 2,232 at this present point more 3-point field goals than Kareem, but he doesn't shoot as efficient as Kareem did. And I think, but
it's a microcosm of their errors, though.
Yeah, because Kareem was back to the basket. He had the sky hook, and the sky hook. I think I've only seen the sky hook block maybe 3 times, and 2 of them was by Wilt Chamberlain.
And then the other part of that is LeBron's playing an era where, like, that's the other crazy part is his career has gone through different eras of how we play basketball.
Mm-hmm.
You know, we've kind of graduated from having positions to a positionless league now, and it doesn't matter if you're 6'10", you can bring the ball up, you can do whatever. When we grew up in an era where, you know, once the big get the ball, he give it up and, you know, get it to the guard, and that's how we started to break. You know, you started to break with the Wes Unseld 2-hand pass over the head to the outlet, and then boom, outlet to the middle of the court. You got 2-on-1, 3-on-2, whatever it is. Guard makes a decision, basket. Now it's like, you know, you grab the rebound, you turn, you take it, and you kick it to the guy who's popping out for the 3.
Exactly.
I mean, we're taking threes at an astronomical pace right now.
Transition threes.
Right.
That's the problem that I had. They, you know, you coming down the fast break, nobody's in the lane. The defense done backed up. If anything, you could pull up and take a mid-range jumper just right inside the free throw line. Nah, dudes are pulling up. I see it from every level, from middle school to high school, AAU, college. Everybody's doing it.
But that's the way it's played. Like, we mimic. So think about it. Like, I know for a fact, I mimicked Magic Johnson. Like, you couldn't tell me I wasn't Magic. Like, I wasn't the kid of Magic Johnson when I was playing midget basketball at Holy Family on Saturday mornings. You know, I'll come down with a no look. I could spin the basketball and make it turn in mid bounce to go to the person I'm trying to get the ball to go to. So, like, we are products of our errors. You know what I'm saying? You know, the only thing I did wrong was, you know, hit my first basket. I gave my dad and my uncle the guns. Yeah, I got yelled at the whole way home after that. But other than that, I mean, we are products of our errors. So these kids now, and actually, I'm glad you even brought this up because there's a school district, I think in Fairfax, that has disallowed playing games at recess. Yes. There's a couple districts like this. This isn't a phenomenon. This is what they're coming to because the way the kids play the game now, they're emulating what they see. And we have an era of it's not sportsmanship. I don't want to call it not being sportsmanship. I want to call it where trash is talked all the time in the game. So, you know, you got the guys doing the little thing like this because you're too small and all that, or you doing the gritty or whatever it is. All that stuff is in the games, and I think that's causing fights and things of that to happen. So, yeah, the school district decided not to have it in there. And that's what we're seeing. We're seeing our game coming down to our kids, and our kids are playing the way they see it played.
What's crazy? I think back to watching the older kids and the adults when I was 10 years old in the park in Palmer Park, watching them run. And I watched the ball movement.
Right.
And my uncle used to get mad when the ball stopped. He was like, you got to swing that to the other side. If you don't swing that to the other side, we don't score. And this is just a pickup game. But he always said that you got to swing it. That extra pass, sometimes we got an easy lay in or we got an easy open shot. Then when I started seeing them swing, that was it. I think I got my first real run with the adults. I think I had to be about 10 and a half. And I thought I was doing something. You know, they were leaving me open. I was pulling up, hitting a little mid-range jumper. My uncle was like, that's where you shoot from now on. Don't shoot nowhere else. Shoot from there. Don't go in there with the trees. Shoot from there. And that's where I was pulling up from and hitting. But now it's like I've played with kids and I watch kids play. They come down, they shoot as soon as they cross half court.
Right.
And you're missing. But I'm like, okay, have you practiced that before? Have you? No, you're not out here every day pulling up and shooting from there.
That's the part that they don't understand. The hardest part is trying to get to get a kid to understand that you practice how you play. And once you practice how you play, when you play, it becomes easy. Those are the words that people don't hear. You know, everybody wants to see. Everybody sees the finished product, but they don't see the work.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like everybody sees the butterfly, but they don't see the caterpillar. That's the problem. And I'm gonna leave that there. I'm gonna let you figure it out. And if you don't figure it out, then it ain't meant for you to hear it.
I agree with that. Even now at 40, I know my capabilities now. And I tell my oldest son, I tell both my sons actually, I say, I know my capabilities now. I said, people say, well, you just use your height and all you do is back people down. I said, well, I'm 6'4". If you're 5'11", what am I supposed to do but back you down? I'm not supposed to face you up and try to dribble past you. I'm supposed to put you on my back.
On the hip.
And I'm supposed to just be like, okay, you know, I'm not going to tell you too small. As soon as my philosophy, and I've had this happen before. We was at the gym. This cat had to be about 5'7", and he wanted to check all the trees. So I'm like yourself. I'm a big Magic Johnson fan. You couldn't tell me I wasn't Magic when I was younger. So I play more of a Draymond role. I don't give a damn about scoring. My time for scoring is over. I want to win. I'll get you a timely bucket when you need it. I can score when I want to, but I want to play defense and get you a timely bucket when you need it. Come down court. Never forget this. D'Angelo, my man D'Angelo, he was in the paint, and I looked up, and I was like, oh. I said, mouse in the house, and I just dumped it down to him and walked back down court. Man, when I tell you he cooked this dude was getting mad because they was like, young, switch. He was like, nah, I got him. He cooked him for at least 9 straight buckets. And all we did was dump it down low and move. Then when they switched him, whoever we switched him on, he was still too short. So we had our own saying. When you wanted to paint, because we all could play the paint. Everybody's like, why you don't ever play the paint? We got our own thing. Chill. Pat would say, hey, clock out. When you clock out, you move on out the paint. Pat go clock in and go to work. That's it. When Pat start, he start getting a little tired. Hey, clock out. I go in there, I get in the paint, and I go to work. That's what you do. You keep rotating on this dude, and you bust his ass. But instead, somebody want to take him up top and want to dribble. Oh, point at him when you make him fall, and then but you can have $1 million move, but still a 10-cent finish.
Here you go. It don't
That's
matter.
what I try to explain. That's what I try to explain to my sons. It's cool to. Now, if they just playing with each other, it's cool to just sit there and dribble and play with them and yank them. But if you're in a game, and I've yelled at Dario for this, he did it one time. He was dribbling. He got past the dude, brought him back, got past him again, kept bringing him back. I was like, hey, cut that shit the fuck out. Go score. Because I'm from the school. 1-2, go score. That's it.
Right.
All that dribbling, I ain't got time for that.
It ain't gymnastics, baby. You don't get scoring for beauty.
This ain't NBA Street where you just keep doing a bunch of moves and keep getting that game breaker. This ain't that. But now on the flip side, being against somebody that likes to dribble like that and they keep trying to yank you and they keep trying to do it, I'm old school. And that's because of my hatred for the bad boy Pistons that I became a Bulls fan. But I use bad boy Pistons tactics. Because you'll do all of that and you'll try to go past me. I'm going to reach my leg out and clip you up.
Right.
I don't give a damn about the foul. I got infinite fouls. I'm going to throw an elbow. Because you piss me off, I'm going to throw an elbow. Oh, man, you got to watch them elbows. You got to watch that bullshit you doing. Stop trying to embarrass somebody and play the game, dog. I mean, if that's your way to play the game, fine. You're gonna play the game my way, too. If I got to play your way, you're going to play my way, too. So, I mean, but that's what we're creating. We started creating monsters when that became okay. And then the thing is, a lot of the kids that are trying it, you can't dribble. You can't shoot.
Right. Can
you even execute a layup? You know, it's no way in 4 hells this kid is 6'9". You can't dunk. You can't shoot. You have no post game, but you steady trying to shoot threes from the logo, but you have no post game. Whatever happened to, hey, my shot's not on today. I'm not seeing the bucket today. I'm big enough. Let me go down the post and get my points down there.
That's too grimy.
That's the dirty work. That's what I love. Because if I came out and we shot around and all of a sudden my shot's not falling, I'm hitting the side of the backboard. Okay, this is going to be a post game for me, y'all. This is a post game. You know, no jumpers. This is a post game. And you go from there. But I digress. LeBron James breaks this on Tuesday, and they said the tickets are $90,000.
Yep.
For this Thunder game, and it's at what is it called now? It's not called Staples anymore. It's still Staples to me. You know, it'd be great though. Move this game to the Great Western Forum.
Is that still standing?
Yeah.
Oh no, you can't do that. You can't do that.
Oh shit, it's a church now.
I don't know if it's a church or what, but I know the Clippers are trying to either build something on that same ground or something like that. So we don't want to go there. We gotta stay at the home of LA, the house that Kobe built.
Yeah, well, yeah. I mean, it's called the Kia Forum now. The Fabulous Forum. I think it's a church now. I think that's what it is. I think a church bought it now. That's what it is. I'm like, damn. Here's the crazy part about it. If a church is bought it, do you understand how many parties that was held with naked women in that club?
Hey, as long as the church walls don't talk.
Oh my God. But no, they say Steve Ballmer has bought it.
Yeah, he's supposed to be building it. That's where their arena's supposed to be.
Okay.
The Clippers are supposed to, because they want to get out of the Lakers' shadow and have their own building. Because when Doc was there, Doc would put curtains around the top so that way you couldn't see the Lakers banners.
Yeah.
Sorry. Yeah. Fuck Doc. He coached Boston. It's nothing personal.
But they did that. They did that before Doc got there because
No, they didn't do that before Doc. That was a Doc Rivers thing.
I thought they always covered up the Lakers banners when the Clippers played.
Why would you?
Because I mean the Clippers are home
team. See something good. You ain't seeing nothing good on the court, so you gotta at least look up and see something. You look to the heavens, you gotta have something better than the shit you watching on the court.
Ooh,
I mean,
man.
outside of that, what was it? The Mark Jackson, Ron Harper era, and then you had my boys. Shout out to the Knuckleheads. You know what I'm saying? Outside of them, I mean, Clipper basketball. Ugh. I mean, you can call Chris Paul and Blake Griffin something when they were just doing the Lob City, but I mean, Lob City when it came to the playoffs, they was real shitty. So.
And I agree with that. So, but I was thinking that just for nostalgia reasons. But
I get it, but LeBron wouldn't connect with that.
Yeah, no, and I had to think about that. I'm thinking more along on the Lakers, but LeBron wouldn't connect with that. And I'm hoping that Kareem is actually at this game and they let waysides be waysides, bygones be bygones. And because Kareem has said some things about LeBron and, oh, you should be more of a advocate for this and that. And you can't tell somebody what mantle to pick up. And that's why I love Kareem immensely. But that's the one thing I disagree on is him telling the new generation what mantle to pick up when it
But
comes to social justice.
you gotta understand, like and I think the mantle was different because the level of injustice in Kareem's era. So now you have Kareem, you have Jim Brown, you have Muhammad Ali, you have Wilt Chamberlain, you have all these guys building a platform to take us from Jim Crow into some level of getting equality. I'm not going to say having equality, but I'm going to say getting equality. And then for them to see guys now kind of not have a mantle or have a place at the table or use their situation to give themselves a place at the table. I mean, that's got to be a little discouraging for an older guy like that.
But on the flip side, you have to realize, you got to realize if you speak out about certain things too much, they take everything from you.
You're absolutely right.
I know the picture you're talking about. Bobby Mitchell was there. They were all there. And this is when I think it was when Muhammad Ali didn't want to go into the military. He didn't want to go fight in Vietnam. And I saw that picture. And what breaks my heart about that picture is that when Jim Brown went to Trump Towers and sat down with Donald Trump, him, Ray Lewis, Steve Harvey, a whole bunch of black entertainers and sports figures. And then they came out with, he got a plan. And no. After the things that this man said, you can't, I don't give a damn what the fuck his plan was. There's nothing you can say to me to erase what you've done already at that point. And that broke my heart that Jim Brown said that. I said, no, this can't be true. You can't say that because of what I knew he stood for and what happened in that picture and the support that he put behind Muhammad Ali. Him saying that broke my heart. But when it comes to picking up mantles and social justice, you can't tell people what to fight for and what not to fight for. They have to fight for it because it's in their heart.
True. Very true.
Now, every time LeBron opens his mouth, he can say, you know what? I stand on this mountain and I'll die on it. Water is wet. I guarantee you it'll be about 35,000 people to say, no, water's not wet. It's cold. It's liquid. They will do anything to disagree with him because it's LeBron James.
Right.
This man says something about an Ohio police officer killing a young girl. And we haven't heard nothing else about that. And, he inciting violence because he put in the caption, you're next. Well, everybody had the caption, you're next. I even had the caption, you're next. So nobody said anybody was going to do anything to the dude, but you're the next one to get prosecuted and go to jail, which he did not. And once we finish the show, I need to go look that up and find out what the deal with that was. But he got crucified for that. Every time he says something, it's always a crucifix. Well, racism don't touch you because you got money. It's so much. But let's move on. Let's jump over to some college basketball.
Locally, Mark Mosley, let's go. I'm sorry.
Locally, the Maryland Terps are balling. The Hoyas are falling. The Terps yesterday had one of the biggest wins in Big Ten history, 81-46 over the Minnesota Golden Gophers. This wasn't even a contest, to be honest. This wasn't a contest. I mean, at the end of the first half, Maryland was up 41-21. And then they cruised in the second half and outscored them 40-25. Their leading scorer was Julian Reese with 16 points. And they emptied the bench. They went deep. Good grief. Minnesota only had one player in double figures, and that was Pharrell Payne. The Terps right now, the NCAA tournament should come a knocking. Is it still 16 wins to get in?
Some form of that, yeah. We're close to that.
Okay. So 16-7 Maryland Terps right now. They travel to Michigan State on February 7th, which is Tuesday. Where we at? Then
Tom,
next
Tom
Saturday
gonna
they got
boost
Penn
the
State.
asses.
Huh?
Tom gonna put boost the asses. Tom Izzo. Sorry, I'm just
I hope
unapologetically.
not.
Tom Izzo's my guy.
I like Tom Izzo. Damn, they got Penn State 2 times in the next month. Well, it is Big Ten play. And then of course we got conference tournaments coming up and everything. So March Madness will be kicking off real soon.
Sorry
But
about that.
that's all right. On the other hand, my Georgetown Hoyas, they were keeping up with the number 24 Connecticut yesterday. And Connecticut is 18-6. Hoyas are the flip side, 6-18. They were keeping up with them. At the end of the first half, it was 31-31. I'm listening to this on the radio, and Connecticut's just turning the ball over. I'm like, yeah, all right, y'all get ready to do something. And it just didn't quite turn over that way. They lose 68-62. Leading scorer for them was Brandon Murray, 21 points. Jay Heath had 13. Huh?
What did Primo do?
I don't think he played.
So Georgetown has a very simple problem, and they have this, and I think it's a chemistry issue. For one, and I'm gonna say this wholeheartedly, that I think Pat's in a tough spot because right before or as the season started, you lose Coach Orr. He passes away, so that has to have some kind of emotional impact on the team, on the coaching staff. So I honor that. But when I watch this team play, I just see a team that they don't play for each other; they play for themselves.
Hero ball,
right? And it's funny because you'll see a guy come down, and it's like, I didn't get my touch. All right, I'm gonna take this shot, and it's really in the flow when they're playing well. They'll be on a 10-0 run, and then that guy just got to get his, and then the other guy got to get his, and the next 3 possessions go to shit. And now all of a sudden, that 10-0 run is met by another 10-0 run, and now you either even or you back down. And then the other part is, I don't know who finishes for this team. Like, I think Primo's the guy, but I don't know how they close out ball games. And that's another place where I struggle when I watch Georgetown. I do this, like, of course, my bit where the loser streak gets a number and we name the players of the loser streak. But it's more so because I just feel like it's more self-inflicted. I don't see it as them being a bad basketball. I'm sorry, hold on. Let me say it the right way. They're a good basketball team with bad basketball tendencies. And their tendencies show more than they should. That's not a 6-18 ball club. If you take them talent for talent, they're not a 6-18 ball club. The problem is they play like that because something's off. Something's off kilter. Because the way I watched that team, I watched them play Villanova. I watched them play what's the school Juan Dixon's at? Coppin State.
Mm-hmm.
And I watched them play Creighton. And when I watch the Hoyas, I always come on, like, I feel like they play with energy. But even though you play hard, sometimes if you do play dumb at the same time, you're killing yourself. You're killing yourself softly. And that's what I see. Now, the Terps, they got a nice big win over Indiana. And every time I see Indiana, I don't understand how that team is not top 10. But, I mean, of course, the way they play, or you losing ball games that you shouldn't lose, that gets you there.
I'm going to say this, and I'm going to start with Georgetown like you did. And I said this in reference to your streak. If Patrick Ewing can get a decent top-tier recruiting class, but he needs guys that's going to stay at least 3 years. Now, I said it on the post, and I'll say it here. Tradition at Georgetown, you stay 4 years, you get your degree. That's the promise that Big John made to every parent. They're going to get their degree. And the whole time he was here, only 3 players left, and that was Allen Iverson left early. Victor Page left early, and then Michael Graham was kicked off the team
right
after the championship run. That's the only 3 players he lost early. And the boss BJ chiming in, he say he's not going to. No, he's not, because everybody's looking, and this is where I guess I'm just what you say, the old man shaking his fist at the clouds. This is what I am. Every player that comes out of high school is looking to build a brand of sorts. And oh, well, if I'm not getting exposure here and I'm not getting this and I'm not getting that, I don't want to go there. I want to go to a Duke where I can be one and done. I want to go to a North Carolina where I can probably be 1 or 2 and done, but I can go on a deep run and get to the tournament and I can get exposed. I want to go to one of these power conference teams where I can play and I can get exposed because I can go on a deep tournament run. It's not about using your talents to get the education, because you got to have something to fall back on. Number 1. Number 2, it's not about learning the game and actually playing the game. Because if that was the case, we would see more players going to your Georgetowns, more players even coming to Maryland. Like I saw a rumor that Bronny James is going to sign with Maryland. I said, man, he signed with Maryland and he actually stays 3 years. I got Maryland winning the national championship.
but you know what, that theory doesn't work, right?
What do you mean?
So this is my working theory. The way scouts view basketball players is the longer you're in school, the worse basketball player you are.
Yeah, I remember you said that. I do.
It's a fact. Like, you just, like, they don't value seniors or juniors anymore. Because it comes in the way that they talk about the draft. It's always upside, it's always wingspan, it's always potential. And I think we know a guy that used to always say potential will do one thing, and that's get you fired. And that's John. I don't know if it's John 1:13 or 1:15 or whatever it is, but it ain't John 3:16. But it's John Thompson. It's a John Thompsonism. I ain't grow up too just because I mess with Georgetown. I didn't grow up too far from the John Thompson tree.
I get it. And I even talked to my mom about that, speaking of which. And she was like, why would you go away from the Thompson tree after everything he did for that school? Why would you go away from it? I said, Ben said that, it's the roots of John Thompson is choking the program. And she said, I don't believe that, because, I mean, you keep it in the family. She's like, Pat ain't doing a bad job. Pat ain't got no players. And I'm like, if my mom can see that, and she doesn't watch Georgetown basketball that often, but she can see that Pat don't have the players. He doesn't have a Kevin Braswell. Huh?
Who shops for the groceries?
The AD, apparently.
Nah, the grocery shopper is the head coach. He's the dude out there.
He's supposed to, but here's the thing. He doesn't have a Kevin Braswell. He doesn't have an Allen Iverson. He doesn't have Alonzo Mourning.
Whoa. Wasn't Braswell the dude that had the swords?
What do you mean?
Braswell, he transferred out of Georgetown and went to what's the school on the West Coast? Where'd your mom go to college? Thanks, kid. I thought Braswell left after 2 years and went. No, she didn't go to Virginia Tech. Oh. Your mom went somewhere on the West Coast. It's the Fresno State.
No,
Braswell ended up at Fresno. What am I thinking about? I'm thinking about is it Bonham or something like that?
Because you damn
the kid that wore number 3. He was a guard after he was there for 2 years. He transferred out of Georgetown, ends up at Fresno State. It's like Kenny Bonham or something like that. But I'm not gonna worry about that.
I know who you're talking about. I think I know who you're talking about. But Kevin Braswell, he stayed all 4 years.
Okay.
From 98 to 2002. So he played under Big John. He played 2 years under Big John, 2 years under Craig Ashford.
Yeah, my Gonzaga Summer League basketball coach was Mark Tillman. So I think I had Mark Tillman, and then the second year I was at the camp, I had Churchwell.
And then you don't have a Jonathan Wallace. That's another name. You don't have Jonathan Wallace. You don't have these players, Ruben Boom J. You don't have these players that are great college players but didn't make it in the NBA.
Shout out to Archbishop Carroll High School. Boom J.
Yes, it's time to move on from the Thompson area.
Here we go.
And I grew up under Thompson. He called me Ralph Dalton II. And that's the thing, though. Where do you go? Because the roots are so deep. And I've been wondering this since you said it, and since your cousin said it. Everybody's saying it. We had a long discussion on it, and I read some articles, and I said, I kind of see where everybody's coming from. And I'm like, where do you go? Who jumps in there and takes over?
I think that's the part. So there's two schools, actually it might be three, but I think Duke's in the midst of that right now because they're with Shire, and I think they got to find an identity after Coach K. Syracuse will be in this position because Syracuse won't have an identity after Boeheim leaves. Whenever Boeheim leaves, he needs to leave sooner than later. What's my man at Notre Dame? Ironically, I'm wearing a hat today, but I think it's Breer. I can't think of his name, but he's in that position because he's stepping down in the season. So we're going to have schools in that process of transitioning from guys that have been there for 20, 30 years, and they're walking out the door. Like I'm so concerned because I love Izzo. The second he steps down, I don't know what Michigan State becomes. And he's the guy that I built one of my tenets of coaching on is it's okay for us to look bad in November, but we can't look bad in February because we want to grow. Right. We got to change. We got to become better. It's one of my things. If you ask any kid that I coached, they will say, "Yeah, Coach Ben said we can't be who we are in November, in February. We can't be that same team." That's true. That's just the truth.
And Thomas, I appreciate that.
I like this Thomas guy. Hey, Thomas, first and foremost, make sure you hit subscribe. If you're on YouTube, you know what I'm saying, add us. You know what I'm saying, add the Sideline Junkies, participate in our Facebook. Like, I'm talking, dude, you're on point today. Like, keep coming back. Bring snacks if you got them. No orange slices.
Oh, man. But see, here's the thing, and this is what I ask everybody.
Oh, and you can take us to Shakey's after we do the show.
Oh, jeez. Here's the thing, and we appreciate you too. We really do appreciate it 100%. And I'm gonna ask you a question. Where do you move on to? I'm asking everybody this. Where do we move on to? Okay, you move away from Patrick Ewing. How far do you gotta you gotta be really, you gotta go deep down in the bowels of Dingo and find out somebody that's not connected to John Thompson because it's not so you I think you stretches deep, man.
I think you're getting too lost in the nuance of what we're saying. We're saying that the direct lineage. We're talking about guys that played for John and kids that came out of John's balls. We're talking about those guys got to be not in the coaching process. We just got to find another person on the outside, and it could be an up and coming guy. It doesn't matter if like he touched the hem of John Thompson's suit pants or whatever. It doesn't matter about that. It's just we need somebody. They need somebody that's a different thinker. And I honestly think at times when I watch clips of Pat, I think Pat is so much like us, entrenched in what we believe, that it's hard for him with these kids, and they don't always see what he sees. And I think that's where he struggles. Like I like their guards. I just think the rest of the team can't shoot. Like they got 2 shooters, but then they got four bricklayers. You can't have them. And the problem with the bricklayers is they're the dudes that want to shoot.
Yeah. And you know what? That right there, see, that was Maryland's problem for the longest under Gary. They wouldn't go to the AAU coaches. But these AAU coaches, that's how you start your pipeline. That's how you get all of your local talent, because those guys got to come through the pipeline and go through that Maryland, that AAU coach. I like that. I really like that. I hate AAU, but I like an AAU coach because all the talent is going to run to them.
But then you're bastardizing your process, because AAU coaches, to me, and this is going to be very biased, but I don't feel like AAU coaches do a lot of coaching. They do a lot of
a lot of them don't.
They'll roll the basketball out, and because they have better talent. And I've said this for years. And watching the Redeem Team documentary gave me more respect for Coach K than I had before. I felt like he was a roll the ball out. I thought him and Calipari were the two guys that I felt were roll the basketball out kind of coaches. But as I watched the Redeem Team, I understood that he, there it is. See? And speaking of him, this guy that's in the comments, he wasted an hour of my time yesterday on content because we did a show. Nobody sees it because he won't do a podcast with me, but it's all good. Cuz love you, bro. But seriously, when it comes to coaches, they just got to find a guy. They got to find a hot coaching guy to get Georgetown back in the map. And I don't know where that comes from.
When we talk AAU coaching, I agree with Thomas, I agree with Eric, I agree with you. Most of them can't coach, but it's a few of them that actually coach and teach fundamentals, and they actually break down the game. Right. And you find that guy, and then, of course, his cousin, brother, sister, I don't care. Somebody moves into that next one. But so much local talent is poached from our backyard. And a lot of people say, how did Kevin... Huh?
Gary and John wouldn't. They believed in going to the high school coach and not going through the AAU coach.
Because AAU at the back in the day, AAU was just something you did every once in a while. It wasn't
what
it wasn't. AAU is all year round now. They got tournaments all year round.
Right. But see, so you're 40, right?
41. What am I? I'm 41. I turned 42. Okay. It's hard for me to say that because I'm still thinking I'm 15. But go ahead.
I got a little more grays in my beard. So I remember the beginning of AAU. AAU was supposed to be like an all-star team. And I don't know if and I don't want to disrespect you by saying I don't know if you know about that. But like what it was you got the best of the best on a team, and they went out and traveled and played. And then it became, I want to get my kid to be able to play basketball because he ain't that good and the coach won't play him. So we're going to build our own team. That's what it's evolved to.
Here's my thing. And everybody here is old enough to remember rec ball. You played in the neighborhood. So if you had your neighborhood, you played other neighborhoods. Football, you had your neighborhood, you played your other neighborhoods. It was all the PG County recs.
And that wasn't even in the rec system. We played neighborhoods.
Yeah, just off break.
7-on-7, 8-on-8, whatever, at a local park. You walk up with our team and you walk up with yours, and we playing tackle football behind the school. Yeah.
Yep. And we did it too. But see, once you bring in AAU and you put in this all-star team, and then, I can play AAU. My son can play AAU with your son. And we on two totally different sides of the map. But then all of a sudden, it started becoming, my son's moving here. Well, your son I want to go play with my homies. And now that's what the NBA has become. It's become a real big AAU team. And that's why I don't like AAU. But if you can find a coach that really can coach, I say take him and start the pipeline. Because how did Kevin Durant, Carmelo Anthony, Gravis stayed here. He went to Montrose Christian. He stayed here. Who else got out of the state that went high school here?
Everybody. You're talking about Kendall Marsh. You're talking about Nate Britt. You're talking about Chris. Is it Chris Jenkins? He went to Villanova. There's endless. The city has so much talent. It's endless when you naming people. Like Sherman Douglas gets out of the city.
Because he went right to Spain.
Names.
Yeah.
We can go. We can spend all day talking about names.
Anybody under Shaka Smart coaching tree can help Georgia? Yeah, I think so. And I think Shaka Smart is.
What is Shaka's coaching tree?
Anybody that's on his coaching staff now.
Right now.
Okay. God.
What is Shaka doing right now? And Shaka got done dirty because he's at Marquette. That's where he's at.
Yeah, and I want to say it was a couple of his assistants actually went and got head coaching jobs or they got jobs elsewhere. But they,
Speaking of which, I gotta look this up. Where's my boy? Where's
Eric
Buzz
Willis?
Williams?
Eric Willis says nothing wrong with getting one of the AAU guys off the staff as assistant. Yeah, and you start the pipeline because normally that's what it. What was it? DC Assault or something like that.
Yeah, that's exactly what it is.
And they got a guy that got over and
they had a couple guys that got coaching jobs on.
Because they helped recruit a couple of players. So they got I think it was at Maryland under Turgeon.
Yeah. One of the guys got a job at Maryland and another one, what was it? I want to say Michigan. But guys get jobs off of the AAU circuit as assistants.
Mm-hmm. I believe it. And Thomas says, yes, sir. How we all came up neighborhood against neighborhood. Yeah, exactly.
And
Eric say Boys and Girls Club. Yes. And Thomas say he played at number 4 boys club in Southwest. This is great, man. This is great. And Eric say he played at number 4. Like this is great, man. This is the dialogue that we did this for, because I
was supposed to be the option quarterback when Eric was coaching at number 4. We got to run. It was gonna be baby. Well, that was before Michael Vick. I don't remember who the lefty was when I was in like 3rd grade. But yeah,
Steve Young. You'd have been the next Steve Young.
Yeah, it is.
But I mean,
Omaha.
This is what I'm talking about. Like, no, nothing. This is what needs to be done.
It's organic, man.
Yeah, and I'm loving this, man. But we got to move on from this. But God, I'm loving this. I don't want to, but I got to. So
put a pin in it.
Yeah, and we might have to come back Tuesday and talk about this because matter of fact, I meant to make this announcement last night before we move on to the next one. This week, starting Tuesday, so Tuesday, Thursday,
and Sunday
Thursday, and Sunday morning, we're doing Super Bowl trivia. And I'm telling you, 3 questions, you can win $10. We ain't got a whole bunch of money around here, but I'm 3 Super Bowl questions, and they're not gonna be easy. You answer all 3, you get $10. I'll cash app you right now. Once you do it. So that's starting on Tuesday. Look out for that. I'll keep posting.
So basically, you're gonna send somebody the StreamYard contact. All they say is, "Hey, I'm interested or I want to participate."
Mm-hmm.
You send them the link on the StreamYard.
Yep.
They'll sit in the backstage until it's their turn to come on.
Yep.
And then we'll ask them the 3 questions. Well, you'll ask them the 3 questions.
Yep.
Yeah. I'm curious. I want to see this.
Oh, yeah.
So whoever knows what they know, and I know a couple people that know some things, so it's gonna be interesting.
Oh yeah, and I've been trying to do this, but everybody's scared of my question because they know me. They know me. It's not easy.
Hey, I'll be Huckleberry.
Jumping over to the WNBA really, really quick. The Seattle Storm, and everybody talking about, the Seattle Storm, the New York Liberty are building a super team. Everybody talking about, oh man, it's the first super team ever in the WNBA. Lies. The Houston Comets was the first super team ever with Cynthia Cooper, Cheryl Swoops, Jennifer Arcane, Kim Peratt, Tina Thompson. What was my girl name? You wound up getting Michelle Snow later on. Man, that was a super team. 4 rings in a row. My favorite WNBA team, the Houston Comets. But they just signed Courtney Vandersloot to go with UNESCO, and they got Breonna Stewart. So if we talking about super teams in WNBA, and I would love to see WNBA stars do what NBA stars do and just load up and then go run and win a championship. Do what LeBron and Bosh did and go join somebody else and run. That's all I want.
Yeah. So, I mean, I'm sorry. This is going to sound so condescending, but I mean, take your 120,000 and go wherever you want to go. Because that's what it is. Or your 268K.
Yeah.
I think actually, because me and my boy looked this up yesterday. I think it was 284 is the top salary for a WNBA player. So
I thought somebody was getting $1 million. I thought Candace Parker was getting $1 million.
It might have been over the life of her contract. So she might have signed like a 5-year, $1 million deal. But yeah. Well, top salary when I looked it up was 284.
Okay. I mean, it should be more, but That's another show for another time.
It can't be more. You can't make more than your league make.
Yeah, but and we talked about this. Big Jim brung this up years ago. He said, you know what's hurting the WNBA? What's hurting their product?
Women.
They don't advertise.
No, it's not. They don't have women. If you want to tell me that y'all deserve equal pay, you gotta have equal investment in the product. And if you don't invest in the product, my boy Bill Burr does a great segment on this. He's like, well, you would have it if you went to the fucking games. And if you don't go to the games, who's going to the games? Because I don't want to see a bunch of chicks making a bunch of layups or shooting air balls from three. I watched the 2-minute segment of a ladies' game. I just turned my TV off. I was like, I'm just gonna go to sleep. I don't want to see this. It's bad. They're playing bad basketball. They're airballing layups, and then they want you to watch it. You gotta be me.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, I think there was a conversation where Maximus was in the room, and the guy said Marcus Aurelius touched me on the shoulder, and he said, "You know Marcus Aurelius," and then he was told him in his response, he was like, "You got to make the mob fall in love with you, because to win Rome, you got to win the mob." And the problem with the WNBA is they don't win the mob.
That's true. That is true.
I didn't mean to go gladiator.
No, I love it because the thing is, I look at the product that the WNBA is now compared to what it used to be. And I'll say from 97 to 2001. And it's a totally different product. You know, the packaging is different. Everything's off. Everything's different. So
part of the problem is you have a bunch of talent going into a thimble size opportunity. So every couple years, you got teams cutting players, getting cheaper, but you're cutting good players. You know what I'm saying? You're not paying certain players, and other teams can't pick up those players because their budget is strapped. And then the other part is travel-wise, you got them flying Spirit in Southwest and not flying first class or not flying private. Like,
true.
Like for this need to be taken seriously, you gotta taking care of your players has to be taken seriously. And I'm gonna say that right now. I'm gonna say that to the day I turn blue in the face. That the problem I have with the WNBA is they want all these things, but they don't take care of their players. And I know the NFL doesn't do a great job of this, but the WNBA you can't have your players taking commercial flights to get the games. And the issue is going to be, and Brittany Griner is going to be the defining moment for this. You can't put Brittany Griner on a regular flight.
That's true. That's going to cause a problem.
So you're going to have to start flying commercial. I mean, you got to start flying private at some point. It's $2 million or $3 million. And you got to figure out how much you want to invest in this product. Because the New York Liberty owner, he was like, yeah, I'll do it. He was going to fly a scene private, but everybody else, the other owners didn't want to do it. And that was a big thing last year. So they got to start making their players a priority before we take them seriously.
Okay.
Sorry.
That's more off season because we'll talk about that more as we get closer to the start of the WNBA season. But right now we're going to talk about these NFL honors that February 9th, 9 p.m. they're coming out. So we're just going to go through the nominees and probably say who we think going to win. So the first award up is Salute the Service. Hayden Hurst, Ron Rivera, and George Kittle are up as nominees. Give it to Ron.
Okay.
MVP, Justin Jefferson, Joe Burrow, Josh Allen, and Jalen Hurts.
Jalen Hurts.
Yeah, I got Hurts too. It's no other way. It's got to be Hurts.
Right.
Offensive Player of the Year: Justin Jefferson, Tyreek Hill, Jalen Hurts, Patrick Mahomes.
Patrick Mahomes.
Here's my thing. I never understood this. If I'm MVP and I play offense, shouldn't I be Offensive Player of the Year too?
So they use the MVP and the offensive player to delineate, because honestly, I think the MVP is really just the most valuable quarterback, not the most valuable player.
I agree.
So you get the offensive player award as us really truly recognizing the player that we believe is better or affects offense better. So that's why you have that delineation.
Okay. Coach of the year: Sean McDermott, Brian Dable, Doug Peterson, Nick Sirianni. I say Doug Peterson.
Ooh, I say Dabo.
Comeback player of the year: Saquon, Geno Smith, Christian McCaffrey. I say Geno.
Saquon.
Uh-oh. Damn it, well, that wasn't the end. No. Offensive rookie: Garrett Wilson, Kenneth Walker, Brock Purdy.
Garrett Wilson.
They're gonna give it to Brock Purdy.
If they give it to Brock Purdy, that explains why Tyler Huntley's in the Pro Bowl.
Defensive player of the year: Micah Parsons, Chris Jones, Nick Bosa. Give it to Micah Parsons.
Nick Bosa.
The Art Rooney Award: Max Crosby, Aaron Jones, Jerry Hughes, Justin Juszczyk.
What is this award about?
I have no idea.
Max Crosby.
I'm gonna go ahead. Assistant coach: D'Amico Ryans, Ben Johnson, Shane Steichen.
Just because of success, I'm gonna go Stitching, because that's the Eagles offense coordinator.
Defensive rookie: Sauce Gardner, Tariq Woolen, Aiden Hutchinson. Everybody wants to give it to Sauce Gardner.
Sauce deserves it, but I want to see Tariq's year too. Oh my gosh. Because Tariq did some things on tape this year. Oh my gosh.
Bless you. Well, that's your nominees and everything. For once, it's crazy because I don't see Tom Brady's name in any of these nominees, and that's crazy.
I mean, all right, so most likely to play golf every Monday for the rest of the year, Tom Brady. JJ Watson the invitation out. We play golf on this day. New guy brings the drinks.
Well, you know what? I wish Tom Brady would come back one more year so he can get a true farewell tour. Not even gonna lie, because I think certain players, when they ride off into the sunset, Michael Jordan's last run, Kobe's last run, Kareem's last run.
I'm sorry, I was being funny.
You think they love you like they love Kobe? They don't love you like that. Dwayne Wade's last run. I think that's the way players of that caliber should go off into the sunset.
Totally agree.
When LeBron comes out and he says, "All right, I played the season with my son. I'm done at the end of this season. I'm gonna play one more season and I'm finished. It's been 29 years. I'm gonna go ahead and give it up." And everywhere he goes, he gets a farewell gift. 82 games out of the year. Like they gave Kareem a rocking chair, a motorcycle.
Yeah, they did that whole thing.
Yeah, and
that's what the 80s were about.
That. Yeah,
the 80s were about celebrating the past, like commemorating the stars. I think Bird had something similar. I think Magic had something similar.
Yeah, and here's the thing with Magic though, and we talked about this, and we gonna talk about this in the off season. So I think this will be probably the Thursday show after the Super Bowl. But we talked about Magic coming back, and I always said I wish he would have played one more season, just to say he walks out. You got that link between Showtime and the Lake Show, but he walks out on his own terms. And even though he did walk out on his own terms, but I would love to see him walk out and, get the farewell tour, get the true 82 game farewell tour. Just my opinion, though.
Okay.
So we've come to the end of the show. Thank you to everyone that commented. My man Easy, cousin Eric, Thomas, Man, appreciate y'all. Appreciate the conversation. Appreciate the dialogue. Everything. The boss BJ.
Hold on. Come over here, dog. Nah, I gotta give this dude some screen time. My guy, yo. I know you can't see me in the screen, but yo, I'm proud of the dude because he kind of came up with the idea. We ran with it. So I appreciate the intro we did this morning. So it's no big thing, but hey, every now and then your kid just makes you proud of them, and they just do some things that make you smile, make you laugh. The dude ain't got no sense because his daddy ain't got no sense, so it's all good. All right, get on the screen.
Oh man, I gotta say he started it off right, and if anything, that set the damn tone for the day. And, like, if I'd have known it was gonna be like this, today is gonna be an awesome day. If this, the hell with today, this is gonna be an awesome week. Right. Because y'all done set the tone off. The way the show started, the dialogue we done had on this joint, everything. This is setting the tone for the week.
Hey, Eric, if you missed the opening, go watch the opening of the show because I tagged you late. So go back, watch the first minute and a half of the show, and you'll understand what's going on.
So, man, thank you everyone for showing up, showing out, doing your damn thing. Man, we got a week before the Super Bowl, so we not doing no picks till Sunday. So we might talk a little bit of news here and there. We ain't doing no picking. We saving that for Sunday. But that's the Midnight Rider. I'm the big guy KG. Thank you everybody. See y'all on Tuesday. We don't do no overtime though. We are out of here.